Eberflus said Fields is playing Saturday, which to me there was never any question about. But Pat asked the question, okay, now that he's in year 3, year 2 of the offense, basically, do you really need to play him in the preseason because of the risk of injury?
Yes, we do.
Yes, you do.
And I, just in some of the responses I got on Twitter to just tweeting that Justin Fields was going to play, got some of that pushback. Like there appears to be some Bears fans. I think it's probably a pretty big minority that just think Justin Fields is far enough along right now that it's not worth the risk to play him. What?
It's a very vocal I don't even know if it's a minority because they are loud.
But if you are one of those people, I cannot stress this enough to you. He is not there yet. And I say that with all optimism that he's going to get there. But from what we're seeing on the practice field and some of these situations, and I love how much they're testing the offense, both with all these cadences that they've been practicing, which, by the way, they need to practice in games, and also some of the situations they put him in. You got to put him in live football. And I realize it's dangerous. It always is. It's football. But dare I bring up 2019?
Oh, yeah, you should, because Matt Nagy's in the chat saying you should never play the starters in the preseason.
Well, Matt, Mr. Nagy, Mr. Coach Nagy.
How'd that work out for you?
You already have admitted that was wrong because you came back the year after and basically said that was a mistake, and you played your starters again because it was a mistake, especially for a young quarterback. Now, is that the reason why Mitch never made it? No, but you learned hard that year that you can't just sit your starters and then go out there and try to beat the Packers in week 1. So I think that's insane. I'm not saying he needs to play a lot. I would follow what you would normally probably do, which is get him a series or 2 on Saturday, play him a lot more next week in Indianapolis, especially after you get to practice against the Colts for a few days. And then if everything is where you think it should be at that point, you sit him in that last game against the Bills. That would be perfectly reasonable. But this any idea that Justin Fields could just stop right now, and not that he'd stop in practice, but not play any preseason games and then just go out there and be perfect against the Packers in week 1, that's insane to me.
Well, just look at what happened today with the cadences. You brought it up, Adam. Like, they were having false starts, and not that was the only reason they were false starting, but Fields and that offense need that to try those cadences in hostile environment. Go to Indianapolis and try it out, because you need to do it in game and not just in practice. That's going to take time. So there's a bunch of benefits to just getting your quarterback out there. He's not going to play the whole game.
He's going to play one series.
Exactly. So you get them those reps that you can take into the regular season to iron things out a little bit, see what you can do better, and move on. And then, so I have no issue, and I don't think most Bears fans do, with Fields at least playing a little bit in the preseason.
And by the way, it helps your offensive line too.
Exactly.
Because PJ Walker is going to have a different voice, a different cadence than Justin Fields. So if you put your starting offensive line, and by the way, they need to play a lot too. Those guys need to play too. You can't have it be with the quarterback who's not going to be the same quarterback they're with in week 1.
I would do it a little more old school. I wouldn't play him more than a quarter, but I would play him until you see some level of success out there. If they've run the first series and they go 3 and out, 2 runs, and they throw it on 3rd and 6 and it's incomplete, we're gonna do it. We are gonna do another run here, and if it goes the same way again, I'm gonna do a 3rd run. Let's let the offense get some confidence, have some good vibes going, and then we can call it a day. I mean, I'm as nervous as anybody out there about anyone getting hurt, but you got to get him ready. You got to put him in the best position to have success, and playing in the preseason is where this team is at. So I'm happy that they're doing it.
Injury is always a risk. We understand that. And that's why it's incumbent on Luke Getsy and Justin Fields to understand that and run a series, build up to that 3rd preseason game, but do it in a mindful manner where you're not putting yourself in harm's way. Like today, there was a couple times where Justin could have taken it upfield, padded practice, but they're not tackling Justin Fields. But he still took it out of bounds instead of taking that angle up the field that he easily can do. You know, T3P asked in the podcast, asked in the chat, what does one series even do?
It's great if he goes down the field and scores a touchdown.
Right. And not
Well,
only
it's
that,
really a snap count rather than a series count.
right. You're getting into game mode. You're building yourself up to week 1. So this week you get into game mode, you prep before the game, you do your warm-ups, the exact routine you're going to do for week 1. You play one series, and then the second week you play a quarter, and then the third preseason game, just like they did last year under Matt Eberflus, they'll play the whole half. And then you get 2 weeks off before the regular season, and that's building you up to being ready for the Green Bay Packers. You take these days off, you want to put these guys, in soft play them. It's going to be the exact same outcome as 2019. You're not going to be ready to play football, and there's going to be disappointment on the lakefront. And that's not what I want, and I don't think Eberflus is going to do that.